Geek Out!
Hey, and welcome to another episode of Reminiscent Evil. I'm your host, Josh. In this episode, I'll be discussing the film Resident Evil Retribution with my friends. Gentlemen, introduce yourselves.
I'm Sam.
I'm Chris.
I'm Jake.
And I'm Josh.
Oh, Chris.
So yeah, man, thanks for having us all back on.
Yeah.
Oh, quite glad to have you all here. So,
It's
gentlemen.
an all-star episode.
Yes, it
For
is.
an all-star movie.
What did you think of the film?
It's, I think it was both Chris and Jake were kind of like, because we all just watched it together, full disclosure. You know, it was just kind of like, oh, they know exactly what they are now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's giants with nails in their heads swinging axes. They know what they're doing. In this
The
one,
Resident Evil, I will say, the Resident Evil movies have never, like, not known what they were, but this was, like, I want to say, like, this is really the first one where, like, just from Jump Street, they were, like, head to toe, balls out, full tilt boogie, like, you know what, fuck it, let's stop trying to, you know, be like a horror movie or an action movie. Let's just be a Resident Evil movie. And it was beautiful and glorious, and it's ridiculously over the top, and it is easily my second favorite of the series.
It's just a lot of bullets, a lot of squibs.
Until you pointed out that there was a lot of squibs, then it just almost completely went to CGI.
Yeah, right. And then, like, very little dialogue, which is fine for this movie.
Yeah.
Very little plot points, which is fine for this movie. And, yeah.
A lot of dubstep.
Yeah, a lot of dubstep.
Whoa.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah, I will agree with you, gentlemen, that this is also my second favorite. My first favorite being the second film in the series.
Apocalypse.
Yes.
Mine being the first film.
I did the third one.
Extinction, yeah.
That's my favorite one. I actually did have fun doing that
how-
episode with Josh, but I do like that one. Is fun.
Yeah.
Sam, your favorite?
Probably Apocalypse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I mean, it's just like, that was the close to the video games, and I think that it just kind of, the set pieces, I think, are a little more fully developed than the first film.
It's just the bad guy, the whatever the fuck his name is, the mutation thing.
Wesker?
No,
Nemesis.
from the second one. Yeah, Nemesis. Like, that just looked so ridiculous. Like, I couldn't get over that. So, like, I actually, that's like actually one of my least favorite ones. Because it kind of had like almost like a made for TV movie feel to it for me. Kind of like Jason Goes to Hell, where you're like, oh, this wasn't intended for theaters. Yeah, because it looks like it wasn't.
What year did this come out? Do you guys know?
This one, the Retribution, 2012.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
All right.
I think there was like a 3-year gap or something, at least a 2-year gap since like Afterlife, which is kind of surprising because Afterlife was like the highest grossing, to date is the highest grossing live action Resident Evil film.
I want to say Paul W. Anderson took a break from Resident Evil to do the Three Musketeers movie because I remember that came out while I was in school and I graduated in 2012. So
also, I feel like Milla Jovovich was pregnant in between Resident Evils, like between Afterlife and Retribution,
Which would explain why a lot of her actions, you know, whether she's choosing to briskly jog instead of run,
right.
and not a whole lot of, you know, full body contact is shown in this, either, I guess, from recovering from giving birth.
yeah, or just being at that level, like, you know, like a lot of times, like when people get elevated to a certain level as an actor, they start being like, well, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, how many of these have I done? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm joking.
just fix it in post,
Fix it
honey.
in post.
You think you can make this movie without me? Come on.
Yeah, but yeah, I do enjoy how the series has kind of tried to take itself seriously, trying its hardest to mimic one of the video games, and this one just being like, okay, we're just gonna fucking have fun with this one.
And yet this one was the one that, to me, felt the most like a video game.
Oh, yeah.
Because it has, like, the different levels. Each level has a boss battle, you know?
Yeah,
That's right,
well,
yeah.
it doesn't feel like it's trying to follow a formula of a game. It is itself trying to be a game that was filmed.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Like Scott Pilgrim.
And you guys were saying you really like the kind of like zombie-esque opening.
Yeah, that too. Like, it was really nice to see kind of like a throwback to the first movie, which really was just like a glorified zombie movie. with a liquor, where like the opening to this is pretty much like Paul W.S. Anderson's version of the opening to Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead.
Very similar.
Yeah, once we get past the very glorified exploding ship scene.
Yeah, the opening shot of this movie is a rehash of the closing shot of the last movie, done in reverse, and then we get Mila Jovovich, Alice, doing like a voiceover, kind of explaining what has happened thus far in the series, and then we see the scene again in regular, like going forward, like regular speed. Or like it's kind of fast, but I think that's how it was in the movie. So
ridiculous.
It's like they were like, guys, movie's only 55 minutes long.
Yeah.
We need to stretch 10 more minutes. Well, we can throw in that scene. That's only 5 minutes. Just do it twice.
Yeah. I missed that part because like I came in like a couple minutes late, and I remember Chris explained that part to me, and I was like, "You gotta be fucking kidding me!"
Also, this film likes to ignore a few plot points. Like in the last film, we'd seen Wesker get 2 rolls of quarters through his skull and then eviscerated by like a mega bomb. And in this one, he's alive. And
perfectly fine.
Yeah, and also Chris and Claire are missing from the last film. And when asked about it, Alice, and I would assume the audience when they saw this in theaters, is treated to ear-bleeding, screeching sound to remind you, don't ask questions. Fuck you.
Because they wouldn't re-sign doesn't sound sexy enough.
Yeah. Or we really need Wesker.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and there's a precedent in the video game series for always bringing Wesker back. Like, he gets, like, fucked up by the Tyrant in the original Resident Evil game. He gets fucking rocked by the Red Fields at the end of Code Veronica on the Dreamcast. And then I guess he dies for good in Resident Evil 5 so far.
And all the times he's come back, they try and explain it away with like, well, he's an enhanced person now. The virus evolved his body. This one, it's like, did his, burned, cindered ashes that were, I assume, vaporized, magically reformed?
Hey, you know what? Deadpool can do it, so can Wesker.
And they've cloned Alice, they've cloned Rain, Michelle Rodriguez comes back, they've cloned Carlos. They've cloned whatever Colin Salmon's character is. They could probably clone Albert Wesker.
I guess.
He probably has, like, a building of just him.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a little far-fetched to think that they would clone Wesker.
And
those other ones, sure.
And give him his abilities back.
Yeah.
I mean, when you make a clone of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, you saw The Sixth Day, didn't you?
Yeah.
Sixth Day. Classic Schwarzenegger.
Directed by Roger Spottiswoode, the guy that directed Tomorrow Never Dies.
Oh.
Now, out of the simulations in this, which ones would you guys say is your favorite?
Red Square. I like seeing the Red Army, the zombie Red Army take on the mercenaries or whoever, Leon. Because Leon's probably my favorite Resident Evil character, like over Chris Redfield, over Jill Valentine, or, Claire. Or I guess Carlos in Resident Evil 3. It's cool seeing him with, like, disposable people.
Yeah.
Holding off an entire army.
I think I'd lean that way as well.
Does the White Room scene where she's just, like, killing a bunch of zombies over and over again, does that count?
I think that's part of the, you could argue that that's part of the Tokyo scene.
Okay, I'd go with that.
Yeah.
That was a fun
Okay.
scene. I thought that was well choreographed, too.
If it had been one shot, it would have been very similar to the hallway scene in Oldboy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Daredevil.
Yeah, or Daredevil, especially with the chain, yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to give mine probably to the Times Square one, just because of, they're fighting those two
those two
massive
guys are awesome.
guys.
Yeah, those guys are awesome. Like I said, it should have been the point of view of those guys through the whole series. Just silent film.
Let's just go really, like, artistic guys.
Yeah.
Let's follow one throwaway character.
Yeah. Resident Evil nailheads.
Bunheads.
Just Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead.
Yeah.
Or are undead.
Yeah.
That has to exist, right? Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are undead.
It better.
It's got to.
I think it does.
If not, you better start writing it, Sam.
Oh boy. But yeah, so you would say your favorite sequence is the
to die or not to die.
Is the Times Square.
Yeah.
And you would rank this second, you were saying second only to Apocalypse?
Yes.
Oh. It's a fun one. It's a fun one. Just, kind of check your brain at the door and just let it wash over you. Like, Like an ocean.
Like a bloody squib.
Yeah. And also, as I mentioned earlier, we had lost the 2 video game series characters we'd gotten before, Chris and Claire, and to replace them, we'd gotten Leon, Barry, who made his introduction in the game series in the first game, and Ada Wong, who made her introduction the same time Leon did in the video game series.
Which is Resident Evil 2 for you guys at home.
Right, though Leon's outfit, we get the version from Resident Evil 4,
Yeah.
and Ada still from Resident Evil 2. And
Which she also wears in 4. And does she wear that outfit in 6?
I can't recall.
I don't think she does, because everyone gets a slight redesign
Yeah.
in Resident Evil 6. I feel like this movie kind of takes a lot of that, the idea of, like, because Resident Evil 6 had the multiple, like, zones,
Yeah.
and this kind of has the multiple zones going on, including, like, Resident Evil 6 has got, like, kind of a Hong Kong place, and this has got Tokyo, which I'm aware are not the same city. But
But who's really cares?
yeah, you've got the weird, like, Plagueis things from Resident Evil 5, which also show up in 6. Though I guess we started to see those in Afterlife
Yes.
to tie in the recently released Resident Evil 5. So yeah, I mean there are certainly video game elements. You just have to kind of take it a completely different way. Like in the Resident Evil video game series, they contain the virus, whereas in the film series, the virus wins.
Yeah. Boy, does it win. Especially with that ending.
That last shot, yeah.
Yeah, and that's supposed
The
to...
Tremors 4 ending.
Yeah, and to tee up the final chapter, which, God, at this point, if we thought this one was balls to the wall, insane fun, I mean, where can they possibly go with this next one?
They could pull up Beneath the Planet of the Apes and blow the motherfucker up.
Yeah, they could.
And then get shot back in time.
Chris, where do you think they can take it?
I don't know. I would love to just see just like it come down to like literally just like the 4 of them being like the only people. Or is it 5? Is it 5 of them? Like
Yes,
just
5.
like literally like the only ones left, and they're like, which kind of is what it looks like it's teasing, but like they're just like plowing their way through and just somehow manage to like take out all of them all by themselves. Yeah.
Jake?
Well, seeing as the last shot of the film is a dragon swallowing the audience, I'm hoping it's going to be like Resident Evil Lemmywinks, and we're just stuck inside the dragon the whole time, and just get shat out in the end.
You just want these really like just random storylines.
Well, it's like in this series, I feel like if they did that, it wouldn't be a misstep. They'd just be like, "Oh yeah, it's the next Resident Evil movie."
It's interesting. They're taking risks.
Give this film
They're,
props.
you know what? They're being bold.
Yeah, like the prequels. Yeah, like the prequels. It took some real risks. You know, at least it took risks. Fuck you.
All right.
So do you have any final thoughts, Josh? I mean, this is like the last episode of
Yeah.
Reminiscent Evil until at least January.
Yeah, or if that next, CGI film happens to beat it to the punch.
But yeah, but for the time being, this is it.
This is it.
How
This is the
how
end.
are you going to go out?
Bloody. Messy.
The best named
A little
podcast
smelly.
on the planet.
Yeah.
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 Well, folks, until I guess the next one comes out, this has been Reminiscent Evil. I was your host, Josh. We were discussing Resident Evil Retribution with my beautiful guests.
Yeah, I'm Sam.
I'm still Chris.
I'm Jake.
And till next time.
Gotta shoot him in the head. This has been another Geek Out production. If you enjoyed what you heard, hey, we've got a new commentary every Monday. We've got a special episode every Friday. Of course, there's the usual catching up show every Wednesday. And you get book club episodes just about every Tuesday these days. Thanks for listening.